So this is a LinkedIn ads tutorial for 2023. There's a few things that have changed, quite a few things actually. LinkedIn is bringing out a lot of awesome stuff. If you don't know who I am, I'm a LinkedIn ads professional. I do this every day. I'm managing a few $100,000 dollars a month on LinkedIn ads, mainly with B2B tech companies, but also some small companies, some big, some Series A, some pre-seed, some just normal tech, some non-tech companies which don't go through the rounds, but a broad range of companies. So I will be constantly updating all my experience, what I'm doing, what I'm learning. These kind of platforms, you never really are like know everything. So you're always A/B testing. There's always the different things I'm doing. But this is just a more basic level tutorial for 2023. So let's jump in. What we're going to go through is basically how to set up a campaign, business manager, all the different steps of the objectives, the targeting, the bidding, the creatives, all of this kind of stuff. Hopefully, this won't be a really long one, but this video is sponsored by my company called Kin.co. There'll be a link in the description below. If you want us to do your LinkedIn ads for you, you can come speak to us. We normally work with a minimum 2K budget if someone has a 2K budget to spend on ads, and we do crazy A/B tests and get your account running so you get loads of leads, and we do lead gen and demand gen, which is two strategies that I go into in another video. I'll briefly talk about in this video, but that's all about strategy, which is one of the most important parts of a LinkedIn ad campaign, whereas this one's a bit more hands-on, getting started type thing. So let's jump in. If you don't have a ad account already, you have to go to your LinkedIn page and go to the over here to work and advertise. A form will pop up and say, you just fill out that. It's pretty simple, and you'll get to Campaign Manager, which is this one here. This is my test account, my training account, because I also have a full-blown LinkedIn ads training course, which I do. And you can also, as a starter, you can sign up to a free course called this is LinkedIn ads targeting like a pro free course, link in the description below. It goes way more detail on how to target really well. I'm going to go over some of the targeting in a minute. So yeah, if you click on that, you're going to get to Campaign Manager, and you're going to be here. So quick kind of overview of Campaign Manager. I have another video which goes deep into Campaign Manager. I'm going to leave all these links in the description below. It's much more deep. But basically, Campaign Managers works in a hierarchical way. You have campaign groups, you have campaigns within the campaign groups, and you have ads within the campaigns. So it kind of comes out like that. And then with on the sidebar, which they've changed more recently, you have audiences, which is where you set up the different audiences. So if we go down to this, you can create an audience, and the different audiences you can create are, this is all for retargeting basically, and I have a whole video on this as well. But you can retarget, for example, you can target a list of companies, which is an account-based targeting strategy, and I highly recommend an account-based targeting strategy. It's again another video coming out on this. I'm bringing out loads of videos, so please subscribe. You have offline events. I won't go into this video. But for example, you have company page. So anyone who visits your company page, you can retarget. Any events you create on LinkedIn, you can retarget. Lead gen forms, you can target. Single image, which basically means anyone who clicks on your ad, on your single image ad, you can retarget. And then you obviously can retarget website visits as well, which is the most important one to set up front, because a lot of these you can set up later, and LinkedIn will have the data to be able to retarget. But from day one, you should set up your LinkedIn ads audiences from your website, because this, you won't be able to set this up in the future. It will start collecting data from when you set this up. So it's really important to set this up as quickly as possible. So if you come down here, so this is Campaign Manager basically. You have audiences, brand safety you can ignore for now. If we go down to analyze, you have your insight tag. If you haven't installed your insight tag, again, I have another video on how to do that on not ClickFunnels, on Squarespace, plus using Google Tag Manager. I'd recommend Google Tag Manager, and you basically just put that code into Google Tag Manager and you start tracking. I'll do this as soon as possible. Check out that video. But once you have that run, you can do conversion tracking. So with the conversion, you have to kind of put in your conversions from each page on your each landing page. So you name it, for example, Kin homepage. This would be like for example, a key page view, 30 days. So this is attribution. You can set this to more if you want. I generally keep on 30 day and 7 day. This basically says anyone who's seen your ad in the past 7 days will be attributed to it, and anyone who's clicked on it in the past 30 days will be attributed back to this ad. And there's something called last touch each, and last touch each, last touch last. So each will, if someone sees one ad, clicks on it, but then sees another ad and clicks on it, it's going to attribute to both. Whereas last one will only attribute to the last campaign that where the person made the conversion. So this is really important. I normally, most of them are each, some can be last. There's again this is really, really detailed stuff, so I'm not going to go into this in this video. You can associate to different campaigns, and then you just basically put it here. So with this one, I would probably do starts with, because it's my homepage, but it's kin.co, for example. But if you, for example, want to just do a specific page, so I have a learn page here, I would just literally take this last part and put it here and make it contains, and it'll start tracking that specifically. So yeah, that's really important that you do that. Website demographics is really cool. You can check out all the different stuff going on here. That's your inside tag. Ignore test for now. And advertisers this main page. So if you want to set up your first campaign, this is how you do it. You're basically going to go to create. The first thing you can do is create campaign group, and I would create a campaign group which makes sense. So it could be kin, gated content, whatever it's called. Number one, I would, I often now am splitting all my campaign groups into different, so broader campaigns. Within each campaign group, I'm doing tons of A/B testing. So I'm pushing all the campaign groups to create numerous different campaigns. I'm pretty sure you can create as many campaign groups as you want. So I use like one campaign group for one type of campaign. So for example, if I have one gated content piece, I'll put it all in one campaign group. Or if I have a demand gen, middle of funnel, retargeting, I'll put middle of funnel all in one, or top of funnel demand gen in one, and bottom of funnel one. And I can turn them on and off as I wish. So that's how I do it. So you put that in and create, and suddenly you have a campaign group. So within the campaign group, you have campaigns. So once you go in there, you can go hit your campaign, and you associate to the campaign group, so that's fine. And this is now the objective. So you have a bunch of objectives: brand awareness, you want more people to know about your business, and that will associate a bunch of different ad objectives, which I'll go over in a minute. But each one will have a few nuances in what you can do. Website visits is trying to get as many people to click and go to your site as possible, so it's optimizing for that. Whereas website conversions, because they're quite similar, this is optimized for people who are going to take an action. I'm still debating which one works better. I actually find sometimes website visits works better. It's not necessarily like on Facebook where I would always do the conversion one. With LinkedIn, I don't think it has enough data to really understand that. But for now, I find it easier to use website conversion for tracking purposes. Engagement will allow you to do follower ads and different kind of ad formats, and it's more to get people to engage. So if you want to add, I've heard some strategies where you start with an engagement, you get all the social proof, people liking, commenting, and then they switch over to a website visit or conversion ad once they got that social proof. So engagement is going to get more engagement. It kind of is self-explanatory. Video ads is video ads. It will optimize for video views, and you'll be bidding on that with the cost per video view, 2-second view, CPV, cost per view basis. So whereas these have nuances in terms of how they will be, how you can bid on them, and the ad formats available basically. So with website visits, you can bid by the click or by the CPM, cost per mil, and same with conversions. Video views will be CPV, cost per video view, so per 2-second video view. You can actually also do website visits by video ad, and I sometimes prefer that because you can optimize it in a different way. But if you're doing video, you might want to A/B test between website visit and video views. Lead generation is by far the most popular one. This is the lead gen forms that pop up. It's all keeping people on the platform. So with a lead gen form, you literally have a single image ad on the feed. It looks like an organic post. It's right in the middle. This is, for example, from LinkedIn. This is a single image ad from LinkedIn itself. And when you click on it, this goes to a website. So this will be a traffic or conversion, probably traffic. Whereas if you, with a lead gen form, when you click that, a lead gen form pops up, you never leave LinkedIn. And that's why you'll probably get the best cost per lead on the platform with lead gen versus website visit or website conversion. If you're just trying to get leads and that's your objective, I still prefer sending people to a landing page and converting them on the landing page. But what I'll always test is landing page versus lead generation optimization on the platform, because what that's going to tell us is, although we're trying to optimize and we prefer getting the leads from the landing page, because the pros of landing pages, there's way more brand awareness. People see your brand, they see your colors, they have some more, you can add also more control over the questions you ask, and what happens after they submit, you can redirect them to like a sales page. So there's way more control with sending people to a landing page. So if the conversion rate of someone seeing your landing page and converting to a lead, filling out the form, is the same as a lead gen form, if someone pops up the lead gen form and converts, then I would go for landing page every single time. It's way better. But the point of the matter is lead gen forms probably have higher conversion rates, and that's why people do it, and therefore that's why the cost per lead is higher. But the cons of a lead gen form is that they have less brand awareness, and a lot of people just forget they've even clicked on the ad and filled out their form. So there's less control. Also, and I just think it's not good. But the reason why I'd always A/B test both is because the lead gen form will help us decipher how to get the landing page better. Because if the lead gen form is converting a much higher rate than the landing page, it means we probably have a design issue. So that helps us understand that a little bit more. Job applicants, I'm not going to go over in this video specifically, but let's click on website visit, which is quite a popular one. The next step we're going to have is targeting, and targeting is a really important one. I would generally try to get our audience size between 30K to 100K, but I've seen some really interesting stuff with much smaller ones. So within targeting, you're going to have to say who you're targeting. So let's call it United States, and we're just going to go broader United States. And then so there are a few different ways we're going to target. One of the coolest and most amazing things about LinkedIn is company list, which is an account-based targeting list. I am doing this with my real account for clients, but also for myself. I'm literally going to Crunchbase, scraping a bunch of companies, 1,000 long, of Series A, UK, Series A, US, Series B, UK, Series B, US, that kind of stuff. Then I'm layering on that company list, so it's only targeting people in those companies with a not broad, but a rough range of different job titles around the people I know who I need to speak to. So there's the decision maker, and there's also the people who are the influencers. And so, for example, I have VP of marketing with CMO, but I also have like marketing manager, and then I'll have a few other job roles, which might make sense for people who might want to talk to me about me doing their LinkedIn ads. So account-based targeting is one of the most powerful, amazing things you can do on LinkedIn. Another thing you can do is upload a list of people, and that's also a really powerful way to target. And remember, I have a full-blown targeting like a pro course that you can do, and I'll have a link in the description below. Totally free. You can sign up to it. Please do. It's really something I wish I had when I was trying to learn this. So check that out. And you can layer that on with company size, industry, and a bunch of different ways. But what I would normally do is I'd have account-based targeting. And then if we go back here, you go to audience attributes. The second one I would look at always is job title. Job title is a really solid way of targeting. So job title with industry or job title with company size and industry, that's a really solid, most accurate way to target. It's not necessarily the cheapest, and this is why I broaden out. Most people just get stuck on that. This is why you should do my free course on the topic, because it is important to broaden out your targeting. Otherwise, and the reason is because there's only something like 40, 50, up to 60% of job titles are actually recognized on LinkedIn. So you're missing out at least 40% or more of people who actually do have your job title, are actually part of your ICP, but they're not necessarily recognized on LinkedIn as that. So you need to find them in different ways. A second way I'd look at is groups. I find group targeting really powerful because people who join LinkedIn groups are people quite passionate, because LinkedIn groups suck. They're really crappy. So if you're part of a LinkedIn group, you're probably quite passionate about a topic, and you just layer that on with seniority to make sure you're getting people who are senior. Another one is skills. If you're targeting skills-based people like me, like a LinkedIn ads professional, you can't actually find me as a job title. So targeting like Google freelancers or specialists with developers or LinkedIn ads pros like me, you can't do that with job titles so easily. You can do it really well with skills, and all I recommend with that is do long tail skills, so not like marketing, because that's going to just everyone thinks they're marketer or sales. Everyone thinks they're good at sales, and they have that like as a skill. You need to do something long term, long tails, more like conversion rate optimization or LinkedIn ads, something like that, which is a bit more niche and specific, then it'll work. And the last one is just job function. So if you're targeting HR, you might want to like HR professionals, you might want to target the whole HR department. That might actually make sense because you never really know where decisions are making sense. And I wouldn't get too specific with targeting, in my opinion. And again, as I said, you have numerous different things you can play around with here. You have, you know, growth rate, industry, revenue is a newer one, company size, education, which is interesting. Job function is like department, seniority, titles, skills, experience. How many? I never really do experience, to be honest with you. Um, so then you have interest and traits, which is groups, interests, and traits. So traits are like expat, this kind of stuff. I don't normally use that much. So that's targeting. Always switch off enable audience expansion. This basically gives LinkedIn the ability to go out and think for itself, which we never really want to do with LinkedIn. I can tell you right now, we want to keep as much control as possible from LinkedIn. So turn that off. Targeting is so good, we don't need to give it more control like we would on Facebook, we would allow it. And the second thing you should always turn off is LinkedIn Audience Network. The Audience Network will get you really low cost clicks, but also really low quality people who don't stay on your website very long. I generally, if you have a small budget, turn off. If you have a large budget, maybe A/B test with it, but as a general rule, turn it off, in my opinion, especially if you're just getting started. Ad formats. So with ad formats, we have a numerous different ones. The easiest one I would recommend is just single image ad. Focus on single image ads. It's one that is you just can't go wrong with. It's easier to kind of optimize for. You can do, for example, video ads, which are really great, and you can optimize for video views. I have some really awesome retargeting with video where I have like 50% people who watch at least 50% of my video, and they're quite long videos. They can be up to like 5-6 minutes. So watching 2.5 minutes of me talk in an ad, and I will retarget that. So I love video views and retargeting. Top of funnel especially, because what we can do is we hit people up with more of a brand awareness video type thing, and then just retarget people who have watched the video, at least half of it, depending how long it is, which is really powerful. Carousel are what they are. I would rarely use them unless there's a real reason to use them. So, for example, you might have an event and you have loads of speakers. That might make sense. But generally speaking, if you're torn between a single image ad and carousel, just go for single image. Text ads are amazing. Never stop on text ads. I have a whole video on ad formats that you can see. I have probably like check out the playlist I have on YouTube. The text ads are the right rail. Let's go over here and have a little look. So I don't see them here, but they're on the right rail. If I refresh this, they're on the right rail. They sometimes pop up. They're basically, here we go, text ads. They're little one by one image. You have a little title. So they're like very low click-through rates, but also if you bid by the click, they're totally for free, because you get brand awareness for free because you only pay by the click, and it's awesome just to have your kind of brand and logo here on the side. And they also will give you the cheapest cost per click you're going to get. So we should get quite aggressive with text ads. I would put loads of text ads within one campaign so we get a high frequency of text ads. Spotlight ads are basically, where are they? Spotlight ads is what we saw before. Let's go back. Oops. Let's see if we get some spotlight ads. But spotlight ads are basically, this is spotlight ads, so similar to kind of a text ad, but it's a bit more of your own thing. And you can do optimization like to follow your company page or whatever. But I don't use these as much as a text ad, but they're definitely a reason to use. Message ads come in kind of a couple different. You have message ads and you have conversation ads. Message ads are like InMail, sponsored InMail. So you can send loads of InMails, kind of like a cold email. You get like the click rate is actually quite the cost per click in them is quite high. I don't really use them that often. I wouldn't recommend unless there's a specific like invitation-based thing that you do. So if there's a really intriguing offer, it might work. But apart from that, stick to your single image ads, in my opinion. Conversation ads are a bit more like bot, like numerous options. So like, hey, do you want to download this lead magnet, or would you prefer to, speak to someone, or maybe just want to learn more? And it gives you those options, so you can go through like a process like that. They're quite interesting. I have yet to really crack a good conversation ad. And then event ads are really cool because you can create events and sponsor them. So that's that. Next, we have bidding and budgeting. So just briefly over bidding and budgeting, you can set daily budget, lifetime budget, or both. And what I would recommend is what I've been doing recently is actually, why is this doing that? 1 second, let's go back to website conversion and States. So let's go back to bidding. So what I'd recommend is actually manual bidding most of the time. And there's no floor anymore, I don't believe. They've changed this. I know, too low. So your bid of £1 may be too low. So there used to be a floor where they wouldn't allow, but they're recommending. So you can still bid based rounds. I wouldn't go too low to be honest with you to start with. I actually might even start with maximum delivery, then switch to manual bidding. Once I get so I feel like LinkedIn needs to optimize as much as possible. And I find the maximum delivery doesn't actually rinse your budget that badly as I've used to think, and I've been experimenting with that. So I'd start with maximum. I often now start with maximum delivery and I switch to manual bidding to push it down, and I bid based on supply and demand kind of style of bidding. Because with manual bidding, if you bid too high, you're going to rinse the budget really quickly throughout the day. So if you find your budget's gone within a few hours, you're bidding too high, so you can lower that. If you find you're spending just about right at the end of the day, it means your budget's roughly good. If you're too low with your bidding and you're not even getting close to the amount you want to spend on a daily basis, it's probably because you're bidding too low. So that's how I would see it with that. I'm not going to go over conversion tracking because it's a whole video in its own right, but you really need to do that if you're bidding by the conversion, you need it. So I will link to one of my videos which goes over conversion tracking. I made one not too long ago, so you can check that out. So once you click next, you're going to get to the place where you have to make the creatives. You should have some creatives. So you can browse your existing content, or you can create a new ad. So if you create on a new ad, you need to have an introductory text. So I normally keep this quite short and sweet. You can start with just like one liner, what you want people to do, or you can experiment with different ways of communicating the offer. You need it to send people to a destination, and you need a creative. So they recommend having 5 creatives, but if you have at least 3 creatives, I would highly recommend that you are A/B testing the messaging within the creatives and having different creatives. Again, I have a whole video on each one of these sections, so check them out. And the call to action, I normally just have learn more. So you can also here, you would set up your lead gen form as well if you're doing a lead gen ad. And I have another video just on lead gen forms. You can check that out as well. This video will be way too long. So that's that. Once you've set your creatives, then you save your campaign and you double check it and you launch it. So once you've launched it, then you go back here and you're going to have a campaign. And that is that for that place. And so you should be able to launch a campaign at that point. And we have set up a full campaign. My recommendations is to double check all the different videos I have on each of the different sections, and especially really understand strategy, because there are 2 things that from a strategic point of view you need to understand, which is lead gen campaigns, getting leads versus demand gen. And I think we need both. And I have a whole video on how to advertise, which you can find. It's ranking quite well on YouTube, so it'll probably pop up now that you've watched this one. But the strategy between lead gen versus demand gen is really important to understand. I now am cracking lead gen for clients and then layer that on with loads of demand gen. Demand gen basically means you're just getting leads, and it's putting loads of emphasis on sales to convert those leads into scheduled phone calls, demos, etc. Whereas demand gen is putting a lot more emphasis on marketing to actually skip the lead stage and really push to get the demo or sales call from a marketing perspective. And the way we would do that from a marketing perspective is really around content distribution, or for a really solid content strategy, which means we need to, it's not just about pushing home do a demo, do a demo, do a demo. It's more about here's social proof, here's content distribution around maybe the problem, here's content distribution around the solution. There might be alternative solutions you're thinking. So for example, I run LinkedIn ads, maybe a lot of budget. Like I have a SaaS company who's putting 100K a month into Google ads and they're just rinsing it dry and the results are not doing that well. That's an alternative solution. I need to convince them through my content why LinkedIn ads makes way more sense, or paid social makes way more sense than putting all your money into paid search. Paid search is only going to get you that top of the high intent people, but you're missing this 95% of the people who are not in the market yet. And that's how you create new demand and scale your demand out. Whereas with the Google ads, you're going to rinse out the existing demand. So I have to convince people and create new demand for my product by convincing them why they should allocate their budget from Google ads to paid social and pay me to do that, for example. So that's where demand generation comes into play, whereas lead gen is more like squeezing out the existing demand and trying to convince people to do a demo kind of thing. So watch that video for sure. If you haven't done so already, definitely check out my free course on targeting like a pro. If you want me to do this for you, check out KIIN.co. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can schedule a call for me. Please only schedule the phone call if you have at least 2K a month to invest into ads. You also, it's really important. If you have less, then I'm not sure if it's a good fit. But apart from that, check out the other video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm bringing out loads of LinkedIn ads videos. I'm testing so many different things, especially account-based targeting, and so many different things LinkedIn are bringing out like right now that I'm going to be A/B testing non-stop. And so definitely subscribe and see you guys soon.